What if some of the foods sitting in your kitchen right now are quietly working against your heart? Not next year, not 10 years from now, but today. Many adults over 60 spend a great deal of time thinking about their health. They monitor their blood pressure, they visit their doctors, they take medications, they try to stay active. They genuinely want to make good decisions. Yet, despite these efforts, many seniors are unknowingly eating foods that may place additional stress on their heart, arteries, and blood pressure every single day. And the most surprising part? Some of these foods are commonly considered normal. Some are found in millions of homes. Some are advertised as convenient. Others are marketed as harmless treats. But after 60, the body often responds differently than it did decades earlier. The heart changes, the arteries change, metabolism changes, recovery changes, and foods that once seemed insignificant can begin having a much greater impact. This is why understanding what you eat becomes increasingly important as you age. Not because you need a perfect diet, not because every meal must be flawless, but because small choices repeated day after day can gradually shape your future health. Think about two people in their 70s. One feels energetic. They walk comfortably. Their blood pressure remains relatively stable. They enjoy independence. The other struggles with fatigue. Their blood pressure continues climbing. Their mobility becomes limited. Their cardiovascular health feels increasingly fragile. While many factors contribute to these differences, food often plays a larger role than people realize. The challenge is that dietary problems rarely announce themselves immediately. Most unhealthy foods do not create instant symptoms. You do not eat one meal and immediately feel your arteries stiffening. You do not consume excess sodium and instantly notice rising cardiovascular strain. Instead, the effects often develop quietly, meal after meal, day after day, year after year, until one day the consequences become difficult to ignore. That is why today's discussion matters, because some foods may be creating problems that are far larger than they appear. Let's begin with food number 5, processed meats. This includes items such as bacon, sausage, hot dogs, deli meats, and many packaged meat products commonly found in grocery stores. Now, many seniors grew up eating these foods regularly. For decades, they were breakfast staples, quick lunches, convenient snacks, family favorites. The problem is not necessarily eating them once in a while. The concern is frequent consumption. Processed meats often contain high levels of sodium. They may also contain preservatives and additives designed to improve shelf life and flavor. For aging arteries and an aging cardiovascular system, excessive sodium can become particularly challenging. As people age, blood pressure often becomes more sensitive. The body may retain more fluid. The cardiovascular system may need to work harder. Arteries that have gradually become less flexible can experience additional strain. What makes processed meats especially deceptive is their convenience. They require little preparation. They are easy to store. They fit into busy schedules. But convenience does not always equal cardiovascular health, and many adults over 60 consume far more processed meat than they realize. Now, let's move to food number 4, sugary breakfast pastries and sweet baked goods. Donuts, sweet rolls, packaged muffins, breakfast cakes, frosted pastries. Many people start their mornings with these foods because they are quick and satisfying. They taste good. They provide immediate comfort. And for a short period, they may create a feeling of energy. But what happens afterward is often very different. Blood sugar rises rapidly. Then it falls. Energy fluctuates. Hunger returns. The body experiences repeated metabolic stress. Over time, consistently consuming highly processed sugary foods may contribute to weight gain, blood sugar challenges, and additional cardiovascular strain. For adults over 60, maintaining stable energy becomes increasingly valuable. The body often responds better to balanced nutrition than dramatic spikes and crashes. Unfortunately, many breakfast foods sold as convenient options are loaded with added sugars. And because they are marketed as breakfast foods, people often assume they are healthier than they truly are. The reality can be quite different. Now, consider something important. Neither processed meats nor sugary pastries typically feel dangerous. That is precisely why they can become routine. People consume them for years without giving them much thought. Yet cardiovascular health is often shaped by habits rather than isolated events. The foods you choose repeatedly matter far more than the occasional indulgence. That brings us to another crucial point. Many seniors focus only on what they should add to their diets. More vegetables, more fruit, more healthy foods. Those additions are valuable, but sometimes the greatest improvements come from recognizing what should be reduced, because every unhealthy habit removed creates space for a healthier one. And as you'll soon discover, the next foods on this list may be even more surprising because they are often hiding in plain sight. Many adults over 60 consume them almost every day without realizing the potential impact on their heart, blood pressure, and long-term independence. Now let's continue with food number 3, canned soups and highly processed convenience meals. At first glance, these products seem like a perfect solution for many older adults. They are affordable, easy to prepare, require little effort, and often provide a warm, comforting meal in just a few minutes. For seniors living alone, convenience can be especially appealing. After all, preparing large meals every day may feel unnecessary. Opening a can or heating a frozen meal seems much easier. The problem is that convenience often comes with a hidden cost: sodium, and lots of it. Many canned soups, frozen dinners, instant noodles, packaged side dishes, and convenience meals contain surprisingly high amounts of sodium. Some products can contain a significant portion of an entire day's recommended sodium intake in a single serving. And the challenge becomes even greater because many people consume more than one serving without realizing it. For adults over 60, this matters. As arteries age, they often become less flexible. Blood pressure regulation may become more difficult. The cardiovascular system may become more sensitive to dietary habits. When excess sodium enters the picture repeatedly, the body may retain additional fluid. That extra fluid increases the volume of blood moving through blood vessels. The heart must work harder. The arteries experience greater pressure. And over time, these effects may contribute to cardiovascular strain. What's particularly concerning is that many people assume canned soups are healthy simply because they contain vegetables or are marketed as nutritious. Unfortunately, labels can be misleading. A soup may contain vegetables while still delivering excessive sodium. This is why reading nutrition labels becomes so important after 60. Knowledge creates better choices, and better choices often create better outcomes. Now let's move to food number 2, sugary beverages. This category includes regular soda, sweet tea, energy drinks, sweetened coffee beverages, flavored drinks, and many fruit drinks that contain far more sugar than people expect. Many adults focus heavily on the foods they eat, while paying very little attention to what they drink. Yet beverages can become one of the largest sources of added sugar in the modern diet. And unlike solid food, liquid calories often fail to create the same feeling of fullness. A person may drink hundreds of calories without feeling satisfied, then continue eating normally afterward. Over time, this pattern can contribute to weight gain, metabolic challenges, and increased cardiovascular risk. For seniors, maintaining a healthy weight often becomes more difficult than it was in younger years. Metabolism changes, activity levels may decrease, muscle mass may gradually decline. As a result, the body often becomes less forgiving of excessive sugar intake. Now, imagine someone drinking sweet tea every morning, soda with lunch, and another sweet beverage during the evening. Individually, each drink seems harmless, but together they can create a significant daily sugar load. The body responds to that repeated exposure. Blood sugar fluctuations increase. Energy becomes less stable. The cardiovascular system experiences additional stress. And unfortunately, many people never connect these beverages to their health concerns because drinking them has become routine. That brings us to a powerful truth. Many health challenges after 60 are not caused by dramatic mistakes. They are caused by repeated habits that feel normal. Normal does not always mean healthy. Sometimes the most common habits are the very ones causing the greatest problems. Now, let's reveal food number 1, the food that may quietly undermine heart health, blood pressure control, and artery function more than many people realize. Highly processed salty snack foods. Potato chips, cheese puffs, crackers loaded with sodium, packaged snack mixes, salted convenience foods. Many seniors enjoy these snacks because they are easy to eat, widely available, and often associated with relaxation. A handful while watching television, a small bowl during the afternoon, a snack before dinner. Nothing seems excessive. Yet this is exactly how the problem develops. Not through a single large decision, but through small, repeated choices. These foods often combine several challenges at once: high sodium, highly processed ingredients, low nutritional value, easy overconsumption. And because they are designed to be extremely enjoyable, stopping after a small portion can become difficult. For aging arteries already facing years of wear and tear, these foods may add another layer of strain. Blood pressure may become harder to manage. Fluid retention may increase. Cardiovascular health may gradually suffer. The danger is not the occasional snack. The danger is allowing these foods to become daily habits. Now, before anyone becomes discouraged, it's important to understand something. The goal of this conversation is not fear. The goal is awareness. Many seniors hear health advice and immediately think they must eliminate every enjoyable food forever. That is rarely realistic. Healthy aging is not about perfection. It is about balance. It is about understanding which foods deserve the greatest caution and which habits deserve the greatest attention. Because once you know where the biggest risks exist, you can begin making smarter decisions. And smarter decisions tend to compound over time. Just like unhealthy habits compound, healthy habits compound too. Every healthier meal sends a signal to the body. Every better choice supports long-term health. Every improvement creates momentum. And in the final section, we'll talk about how seniors can replace these foods with smarter alternatives, protect their heart and arteries more effectively, and build eating habits that support strength, energy, and independence for years to come. Now comes the most encouraging part of this conversation. Knowing which foods to avoid is important, but knowing what to do instead is where real change begins. Too often, health advice focuses entirely on restrictions. Don't eat this, avoid that, stay away from these foods. While those warnings can be useful, they often leave people feeling overwhelmed, especially after 60. Many seniors hear long lists of dietary rules and begin wondering whether there is anything left to enjoy. The truth is far more encouraging. Healthy eating is not about punishment. It is about giving your body the support it needs to continue serving you well. Think about your heart for a moment. It has worked every hour of every day since before you were born. It has never taken a vacation, never called in sick, never asked for a break. Every day, it pumps thousands of gallons of blood through an incredible network of arteries and blood vessels. After 60 years of service, that heart deserves support. And one of the best ways to provide that support is through the choices made at the dining table. Imagine replacing processed breakfast meats with healthier protein sources. Imagine choosing fresh foods more often than packaged foods. Imagine building meals around ingredients that support energy rather than drain it. These changes do not need to happen overnight. In fact, gradual changes are often more successful because they are easier to maintain. The body appreciates consistency far more than temporary perfection. Let's return to the example of breakfast. Instead of a sugary pastry and processed meat, imagine starting the day with a meal that provides more balanced nutrition. A meal that helps create steady energy rather than a rapid spike followed by a crash. The difference may not feel dramatic after one morning, but over months and years, repeated choices can influence overall health in meaningful ways. This is one of the greatest misunderstandings about nutrition. People often search for a miracle food, one magical ingredient, one perfect supplement, one secret solution. But long-term health rarely works that way. The biggest benefits usually come from ordinary habits repeated consistently. Small improvements, repeated often. That is where real power exists. Now, think about hydration. Many seniors underestimate how important water becomes as the years pass. Because thirst often becomes less noticeable with age, some older adults spend much of the day mildly dehydrated without realizing it. The solution does not need to be complicated. Simply becoming more aware of hydration habits can make a meaningful difference. A glass of water in the morning, another throughout the day, a conscious effort to support the body's needs. Again, the goal is consistency, not perfection. Consistency. The same principle applies to snacking. Many people automatically reach for whatever is convenient. The chips are nearby, the crackers are easy, the packaged snack requires no preparation. But every choice creates a pattern, and patterns shape outcomes. A healthier option chosen repeatedly can become just as automatic as an unhealthy one. The difference is that the healthier pattern often supports long-term well-being rather than working against it. Now let's talk about something even more important than food: mindset. Because mindset influences behavior, and behavior influences health. Many adults over 60 become discouraged after receiving concerning health news: a higher blood pressure reading, an elevated cholesterol level, a warning from a physician, a new medication. These moments can feel frightening. Some people respond by assuming decline is inevitable. They begin believing there is little they can do. That belief can become dangerous, not because it is true, but because it often prevents action. The reality is that many aspects of health remain influenced by daily choices. No one can stop aging. No one can erase the past. But everyone can influence what happens next. That is a powerful idea. Every meal creates an opportunity. Every morning creates an opportunity. Every walk creates an opportunity. Every healthy choice sends a message to the body, and over time, those messages accumulate. Imagine two people entering their 70s. One continues ignoring nutrition. They consume excessive sodium, they rely heavily on processed foods, they dismiss health concerns. Years pass. The consequences gradually increase. The second person chooses a different approach. Not perfection, awareness. They begin making smarter food decisions. They stay active. They prioritize sleep. They support their cardiovascular health. Years pass for them as well. Eventually, the gap between these two paths becomes easier to see. One person may struggle with mobility, energy, and independence. The other may enjoy greater freedom and confidence. That difference often begins with ordinary daily habits, the habits nobody notices, the habits that seem too small to matter. The habits repeated thousands of times, and that brings us back to the 5 foods we discussed today: processed meats, sugary pastries, canned soups and convenience meals, sugary beverages, highly processed salty snacks. None of these foods guarantee poor health, and avoiding them does not guarantee perfect health. But understanding their potential impact gives you power. It helps you make informed choices. It helps you recognize patterns. It helps you support your heart, arteries, and blood pressure more effectively. Most importantly, it reminds you that healthy aging is not about deprivation. It is about preservation. Preserving strength, preserving energy, preserving mobility, preserving independence, preserving quality of life. Because at the end of the day, the goal is not simply to live longer. The goal is to live better, to wake up with energy, to enjoy time with family, to remain active, to maintain freedom, to continue doing the things that make life meaningful. And while no single meal determines your future, the foods you choose regularly can help shape the direction you're heading. So the next time you walk through your kitchen, open your refrigerator, or prepare a meal, remember this simple question: is this choice helping my heart, Because after 60, protecting your heart and arteries may be one of the most valuable investments you can make. And the good news is that every healthier decision gives your future self something to be grateful for.